Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And I'm here today with Mr. Peepee, who just got home from the hotel. He is very, very tired after, do you see how tired he is? He's falling asleep. After having his bath and getting his little bandana. And he has been at the hotel because we just got back from Miami, my husband and I, after spending 5 days there to celebrate our anniversary. We were there celebrating 6 years married, 9 years together, and that is 9 years that Peepee has been my best friend because he came with Alex into the relationship. I was sitting around today and I was thinking about the evolution of my channel, the evolution of being a YouTube creator, which is just such crap, isn't it? I'm totally a dude that just sits in front of a camera and talks. And I was thinking about it because September 1st is my 1 year doing drama on my other channel. And if you don't know, I have a main channel called Peter Monn, my name, where I do like very funny commentary shtick, just rant videos, just about YouTubers and just anything that I feel like talking about, right? But my whole journey on YouTube really started with Booktube. And so I wanted to talk about it for a second because my heart and soul will always be with Booktube. But like, it's interesting to me what has evolved over time with that, because had it not been for Booktube, I never would have really got involved in my other channel, which I had before, but I've since privatized all those videos. They're stupid. I don't like them. They're embarrassing. Some people have found some of them out there. If you can find them, have at it. I'm not that embarrassed of them. But what had happened was I wrote a book in 2014. It was published, and it was called The Before, Now, and After Then. And my publisher suggested to me that I reach out to a lot of booktubers. And I had no idea what booktubers were. And so I started watching booktubers, and I think I like Googled an article like best booktubers, and it was like Christine came up, and you know, Natasha Toshopoulos, and Jesse the Reader, and Benjamin of Tomes, and all of these huge people, these huge booktubers came up, right? Sasha and all them. And so I started watching them, and from them, like, I would just sub to everybody that was on their side, so everybody that was recommended. But what happened over time was that I only found out about like really big booktubers. And over the course of about 6 months, I started developing a love for smaller booktubers and finding people that I don't consider them small today, because I feel like it doesn't really matter how many subscribers you have on your Booktube channel. I feel like there are people that have 50 subscribers that are, you know, just as well deserving of their opinion as people that have 50,000 subscribers. And I think we know that and we respect that on Booktube, which is one thing that I absolutely love. And I feel like there are people on Booktube that put out high quality, opinionated discussion videos on a daily basis, put out videos about readathons, they put out hauls, they put out, you know, reviews, and they may have 100 subscribers and they're really happy and really excited about 100 subscribers. Whereas in the rest of YouTube, people complain if their sub count doesn't go up that quick, you know? And I love that about Booktube. I love that we're all here just for the discussion and the love of books. But it didn't start that genuine for me. It started out as like a promotional thing that I was doing for my book. And what was funny was I probably reached out to 30 or 40 booktubers at that time that I very like deliberately picked who I was gonna like contact. Not one of them returned my email. I mean, that is crazy, isn't it? That I reached out to 30 booktubers and not one of them responded to me and said, sure, I'd love a free book, and yes, I might get to it or not. Which is one of the reasons why today when authors reach out to me and they say, will you read my book? I always say to them, A, I don't know when I'll have time, so I'll read it when I get to it. If you want to send it to me, that would be an honor. I would love that. B, I will show it in a haul video with your information. And C, you know, like if it's not something that I typically would read, like high fantasy or science fiction, I will recommend them to somebody else that I think would read it. Like a lot of times I recommend like Connor O'Brien. And Connor O'Brien is somebody that I found through like 10 different YouTubers that I absolutely fell in love with. I love all of his content. You know, same thing with like Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey and things like that. And all the way down to Dylan the Reader 5, and who is one of my all-time favorite booktubers. And I found him just like the strangest way. We were both in a snow ice storm. He's from Indiana, I'm from Indiana. He had sent me a book. We started tweeting each other, being stuck on the interstate, and then all of a sudden we're friends on Booktube, and it was the coolest day, and I love that, you know, and I love that on Booktube there's no like pretentious BS, and people just are themselves, for the majority, I would say. So anyway, after about 6 months of watching Booktube videos and becoming obsessed with them and watching it from afar and reading all these comments in the comment section where people would say, I always wanted to start a Booktube channel, but I'm afraid to do it. I thought, I can do this. Like, I can do this, right? But I am an ideas man. I come up with ideas all the time, constantly, right? And my husband is always very much like, just pick an idea and stick with it. Pick an idea and stick with it, right? So I was kind of afraid to say, I'm going to start a Booktube channel, because he'd be like, oh, here we go again. Now you're going to be a YouTuber. Now you're going to do YouTube videos, right? And now I have 4. He doesn't know what to make of it. And it doesn't really matter. He's just happy that I'm happy. So I kind of like went behind everybody's back. I did not tell my best friend. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell my husband, Alex. And one day I just made it and I posted my first video, which is cringeworthy at best. It's like, hi, I'm Peter, and I was so upset because I really wanted the channel title, Peter Loves Books, but I think that's already taken. So I went with Peter Likes Books. I can remember spending so much time trying to have the right banner, take the pictures. It just, none of that matters, okay? It just doesn't. Just get on and be yourself and talk about how much you love books, because that's the really cool thing about Booktube. My beard is driving my nose crazy today because I trimmed my beard, but I didn't trim that part up there. But anyway, but I was thinking about this today because when I first got on Booktube, like I originally did like TBRs, hauls, tags, and all that kind of stuff because I felt like as a booktuber, that's what you're supposed to do, right? I didn't realize at the time that there are like these bigger YouTubers were being sponsored, and so like a lot of their you know, creative content, their videos were like being driven by a force behind there. Not all of it, but some of it. And so over time, I just kind of started being like, I'm just gonna do bookish ramblings. I'm gonna just talk about nothing. Just talk about books if I want to. And I even was posting at the beginning like 2 videos a day. Do you guys remember that? And people were like, oh my God, you post 2 videos a day. I loved it. I love it still to this day. I love making videos and talking to the camera. And that just kind of, you know, evolved over time. But what's happened recently was with my other channel, you know, becoming bigger, because I started talking about all these YouTubers like Shane Dawson and Trisha Paytas and Glozell Green and Colleen Ballinger and all these people that I love and I had been fans of for years. And then I became kind of friends with these people, and it was such a cool thing, and all my attention went to that channel, but like I still felt pulled over from Booktube. And if you've noticed in the last 2 months, I have posted almost daily on Booktube because it is my heart and soul. It always will be. And people a lot of times on that channel find it very hard to believe that I actually have a Booktube channel and that I like love Booktube this much. And I love everything about it. I love Goodreads. I'm obsessed with Goodreads. I can't get my best friend to get on Goodreads. It's the only thing that makes me sad, but like people send me messages all the time on Goodreads. I love interacting with you guys. Thank you so much. If you friend request me, I will accept it always, okay? Just don't send a message with your friend request because I can't read it. Wait for me to accept it, which is usually the same day, and then send me a message because I can't read it and go back and forth until then. And I love Twitter. Twitter Booktube is so cool for me. I have my own Twitter like handle profile for Peter Likes Books, and you know, it has been such a great way for me to find about readathons, other booktubers, all that kind of stuff. And you know, for so many years, I had nobody to talk to about books except for my best friend, and she and I don't even really read the same things, you know? And like last night, we were having this conversation about Paula Hawkins' Into the Water, her new book, which I just finished, and I absolutely loved. And she loved it too, but like we saw completely different things about each other. And when we were talking, I said to her, I said, you know, Tanya, I go, this is exactly why I love Booktube, because I can watch videos and somebody can have a completely different perspective about a book that I've read, and I'll be like, oh my God, I never saw it that way, or oh, that's so incredible, or oh, that's so interesting, right? And I love that so much about Booktube. I love the interaction with it. I love that somebody can have 50 subscribers and their word, their value, their opinion is just as important as the value and the importance of somebody that has 50,000 subscribers. And that's not necessarily the case on the rest of YouTube. People become very consumed with sub count and views and likes. And although it's wonderful if we grow on Booktube, that's not really what we're all here about, okay? Views, sub count, and all that kind of stuff don't define us as a reader. Just like we know if we wear makeup or don't wear makeup, the kind of clothes we wear, the kind of person that we're attracted to, the pronouns that we use, where we come from, what ways our background has shaped us, none of that defines if we are a reader or not. And the same thing applies to being a booktuber. None of that matters. We get to be totally ourselves on Booktube and just talk about the books we love. And what I absolutely love is the refreshing voice of a new booktuber that I find that has 20 subs, and I sit there and I watch their video, and they're so passionate about reading, and they're so passionate about making books, and maybe their first video is as cringeworthy as my very first video was, because it was cringeworthy. I'm like, hi, I'm gonna make videos, and I book lists, and I don't know. Go back and watch it. It's bad. But I don't care, because had I never made that first video, I would never be making this video. And I'm so thankful that I just took it, the risk and just jumped and made that first video. It has been so worth it to me. Booktube has been absolutely one of the greatest things that's ever happened in my entire life. Every year I beat myself up that I don't go to BEA. I'm going next year. I'm going, okay? It's gonna be in Chicago again, and it's a short drive for me. But, I've met so many wonderful people. I've been introduced to books that I never would have known if it weren't for that. I've devoted weeks at a time to readathons that, if you've watched my readathon videos, I get so excited about readathons. Even though I don't do very well on them, I love that week for each readathon. It's just been one of the coolest things that I have ever experienced in my entire life. It's like, if you had asked me 5 years ago, what are things that you love to do in your pastime? I would have always said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, I love to read. I love to read. The fact was that there was no outlet for me to really show that and experience that and interact with other people other than just going to a library or bookstore. And when I found Booktube, I found this entire world that existed, like some magical kingdom of people that love books. My world just opened up. And I'm so thankful to you guys for being out there, for being viewers, for being readers, for being fellow booktubers, for being fellow bookstagrammers, for being book bloggers, to whatever. Thank you so much for creating this magical world of books for me, because I'm so, so, so honored to be part of it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.